What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Battle for Azeroth first look video in which I take you through all the different types of features that were announced for the upcoming expansion Battle for Azeroth. My name is Michael Hogman, and today we're going to be talking about the allied races and the 6 new playable races that are going to be available in the launch of Battle for Azeroth. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, I'm going to be making a ton of this content that will walk you through all the different features, like I said, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and keep updated with all the Battle for Azeroth news that you could look for. Now, let's go ahead and just dive into this, guys, because this is so much that is really happening in the game. With 6 new playable races, there is a huge amount of diversity that comes with that, and I want to kind of take you through a little bit of the story of how these allied races had come to be. There was actually a very interesting data mine kind of release, I suppose, a leak, and that actually showed the Lightforged Draenei and also the Void Elves, if I'm not mistaken. And kind of explaining that a little bit is that the models had been found through the upcoming patch of the data mining process, and when we found those, content creators kind of went crazy because it kind of pointed to these sub races, these allied races being announced into the game, and it was really fun. So at BlizzCon, these were fully announced, and the interesting part about this is that there are going to be quest lines in the game to kind of unlock each one of these allied races. And there are 3 for Horde, there are 3 for Alliance. So just walking through these, the very first ones I'm going to talk about are the Horde ones. The most notable one I feel like is actually going to be the Nightborne. So the Nightborne is something that, or is a race that you had talked to a ton in Suramar back in Legion. You went through the entirety of finding Thalisra and actually going through the uprising and the revolution of the Nightfallen, and walking through all of that really got the Nightfallen back up into their Nightborne. They were able to overthrow the Grand Magistrix, actually, and then we were able to see the Blood Elves contribute just a ton to their overall revolution. So it makes a lot of sense that they're joining the Horde, because the Blood Elves and the Nightfallen really relate in a lot of ways, because they had both been addicted to magic through the Sunwell and the Moonwell, and seeing that kind of that relatability really makes sense as to why the Nightborne are going to be joining the Horde, and I'm sure that the questline will explain that more thoroughly as it does come out. But I'm really excited for the Nightborne. I think that it'll bring really cool stuff, and what's really interesting about all these races is actually that each one of them come with a new racial ability, and I'll get into that in just a moment. The next up Horde race is going to be the High Mountain Tauren. It makes a lot of sense just because the Tauren are obviously in the Horde, and the High Mountain Tauren are just like a tribe within the Tauren race. So the Horde was able to do a lot of partnering up with the High Mountain Tauren, and now that we are seeing them become a playable race, just makes sense. There's not really a whole lot of question there, and I feel like that just kind of walks you through it very simply. And last but not least, this is a brand new thing that is up in this expansion and will be full of story for you guys to explore, and that's going to be the Zandalari Trolls. Now, this is something that's super interesting for Blizzard to take down this route, because Zandalari Trolls have been something that we have, a race, a faction that we have been fighting for so long, that for us to just be partnered with them, there must be some kind of long story or conflict there that has been resolved. And for my guess, this is just a guess and speculation, but I feel like when we go to the Zandalar and meet up with the Zandalari Trolls, I feel that we are going to be facing off against the Blood God and dealing with the Loa, and kind of exploring that entirety, that entire storyline, and just kind of winning their favor. But they're such like a prominent race, like they're so they're so bougie, so royal, that there's so much going on with them that it feels like it's not going to swap over so easily. And I feel like once you deal with these Blood God and once you win their favor, I feel like that's when they will join the Horde and be a part of that faction. But moving on from just the Horde, also we have 3 new playable Alliance races. The very first one is the Dark Iron Dwarves, which just makes sense because the Dark Iron Dwarves have actually been partnered with the Dwarven race and have created the Council of the Three Hammers. And back in Mists of Pandora, you saw the Dark Iron Dwarves were already fighting alongside the Alliance, if I'm correct. So it makes a lot of sense for them to just officially be joining into the Ironforged race, or the Ironforged faction. And it just makes sense for that and in general. And I think that a lot of people really love the Dark Iron Dwarf model, so it kind of, it just seems pretty easy for them to implement. The next one is actually my favorite race out of all of the Alliance new sub races, allied races, and that's going to be called the Void Elves. So the Void Elves are like a brand new thing. With Legion in patch 7.3, Alaria Windrunner was able to harness the void energy at the end of the seat of the triumvirate, and I feel like that is going to be a very interesting thing, a very interesting race to explore. And I think that it would be super cool because Blizzard had actually confirmed in their Q&A panel that the Void Elves are going to be swapping from regular, high elf to actually the Void Elf form in combat. And this is going to be something that's kind of similar to how the Worgen work, where you can be a human Worgen and then you swap into Worgen form whenever you're in combat. So seeing that is going to be really cool, and I think that that's probably the race I'm going to play as a mage whenever I get into it, and on my ally mage, because I usually have 2 mages. Oh, real quick about the Void Elves. I thought about this, and I thought this was really interesting, is that like Alaria really hasn't fully engaged Sylvanas yet, her sister, and I think that clash of Alaria versus Sylvanas will be really interesting to see. That's it. I just wanted to at least throw that out there. But the last one also has a very interesting conflict with the Void Elves, and that's the Lightforged Draenei. So the Lightforged Draenei are Lightforged by Xera, who have been a Draenei faction, have fully submitted to the Light and kind of taken on their power given to them by Xera, the Prime Naru. And it's very, very painful for Void and Light energy to like touch and come in contact. So seeing them on the same side is going to be very interesting with the Void Elves, because literally like they can't be around each other. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm sure that they will be explained in the quest lines that are brought to life in the new expansion. But overall, guys, just for some gameplay notes that you guys might be interested in, even though you have these quest lines to unlock these races, you will be able to like character transfer or race change over to these races. But there is an interesting twist to this, because these races actually start at level 20 as opposed to level 1. You're able to level up these races as in these new characters, which I feel like a lot of people are going to be doing. And the reason why you should be leveling it is because when you get to maximum level 120 in the new expansion as a new allied race, you unlock that race's heritage armor set, which is kind of like a transmog set, if I'm correct. And I think that this is going to be super cool and a very fun collectible item to be able to go get all of them done. And I really do look forward to being able to do that myself and kind of looking through all that story, because I am like a closet nerd when it comes to Warcraft lore. And I'm really, really interested to see what are some of the races that they add over time. With these allied races, looking at all of them just from like a game developer perspective, they don't have to really create new skeletons and do a whole lot of tweaks, and it's not super far-fetched to become an allied race for all these 6 that have been launched or will be launching soon. Like the Nightborne are just the Night Elf skeleton, the High Mountain obviously the Tauren skeleton, and so on and so forth. I don't necessarily think that we're going to see like Murlocs being an allied race. Like I think that that's just too much to be implemented and takes too much time. But since this system will be developed over time and there will be more of these allied races released, hopefully throughout the expansion, but at the very least, throughout the next expansion or whatever, it will be interesting to see what these new allied races will be as they unfold. I think that, the Vrykroll looks like one that could definitely be in there. And I think that they're not going to do multiple allied races for the same race. Like, they're not going to do the several different Tauren tribes right away. I just feel like that would be a little bit of a disservice to the other races. With the Undead, for example, like, I don't really know where they're going to go with the Undead. Maybe they'll look into the Scourge. Maybe they'll look into the Nathanos Blightcaller and like how he looks. He's like kind of dead but not really dead, like recently turned Forsaken. Or even looking into like the Orcs, like what is it, like the Iron Horde joins the Horde and comes through the portal, or is it like the Machnathal, or whatever it is, the Ogres. I think that there's just so much that they can do by increasing the amount of allied races out there, and I think that it just really gives a huge amount of diversity to the game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all of the different types of allied races that will be coming to World of Warcraft throughout the future. So this is something that I think is going to be really cool, because I feel that the racials included with these different races will really shake up the way you play the game. So many people in Legion were just Blood Elves for PvP because of the Arcane Torrent Silence, or Human because of their stun, trinket, you know, their medallion, their every man for himself racial ability. And I think that with all of these new abilities, these 6 new abilities, I really hope that I feel like they should interact with each other in some way. I feel like some races should be better than others. You know, in the early parts of the game, we saw human rogues being very good against other rogues because they had that perception, stealth detection. I really would like to see a little bit of that gameplay come back, where races kind of counter each other in like a very slight way, and kind of seeing that develop in a way that's just more interactive, as opposed to just like one race is the best and like it's a one size fits all. I think that there's a lot to do there, and it would be cool to see like if Void Elves could somehow beat out Blood Elves because they knew how to, you know, tap into their thirst for magic power. Like somehow Void Elves could literally suck the power out of Blood Elves, and being like that cool engagement and that interaction I think would be very fun. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinion. You know, everything from what you think about the allied races to how you feel that the racials will dive into World of Warcraft and how people will be able to engage with that, if you're excited for it, and also what you think that the future allied races will be announced, and obviously in the future, like what allied races do you think are coming. So thanks guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this like helped you, informed you, and you got something out of this. If you did, be sure to subscribe to my channel and also leave a like on this video to show my channel some support. Subscribing to my channel will keep you updated with all the Battle for Azeroth content that I am releasing, and I hope that you guys will definitely be a part of our community here. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow for a brand new video.